Hey guys, Tyler here, and this is the Garage Warrior Podcast. I'm super excited today to have on the call Dan Go. How's it going, Dan?
Hey, what's up? Very good to be here. Very appreciative to be on this podcast right now.
Absolutely. You know what's really funny, Dan, and I just like to, like I said, shoot from the hip, tell the truth, is that
Yeah.
Dan and I met literally 2 hours ago via email. Literally 2 hours ago via email. And it's because a good friend of mine, Travis Stetz, was like, bro, you got to check out this guy's new program. It's called 6 Minute Superhuman. He'll talk about that later. But Dan is going to tell us all about himself. And he's really on board with this movement complexity thing that I really love. And we're just going to rant about that for the next half hour. So you guys are in for some really good stuff. So Dan, for people who don't know who you are, maybe give us a background into who you are and how you came to get there.
Oh man, I don't know if anyone has listened to the Drake song where he says, "Started from the bottom and now we're here," and essentially that's where I started. I mean, to give you a complete background on where I started from, I used to be a fat dude. You know, I used to be a really big dude. I was hanging around the wrong crowd. Just to put it into perspective, just getting caught up with the wrong people, like gangs and all that kind of stuff. Drinking on the weekends, you know, smoking cigarettes and all that jazz. This is all like back in high school, and then essentially what happened was the biggest trigger for me was to actually my ex-girlfriend came up to me with her new boyfriend, and I remember this like it was yesterday. So she came at me with her boyfriend, and then she just looked at me. This is like when I was at my fattest state, and she was just like, "Dan, have you been like working out?" And I was like, no, absolutely not. I haven't even touched a weight whatsoever. And then out of nowhere, one of my friends, he just blurts out and he says, "Nah, he ain't working out. He just got bitch tits." And
Oh,
that,
dang.
oh my God. I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel that was like the turning point of my life.
Right.
At that point, I was at my lowest. And pretty much, you know, I went in front of the mirror, took off my shirt, and I did, in fact, have bitch tits. I knew this the whole time. I was just like denying it.
Yeah.
And that was when I decided to make a choice to actually change my body. And you know, it started with actually playing basketball, and then it went into just me falling in love with the gym. So that was like kind of like where I started from. Now, kind of what happened in the gym was, you know, I was beating myself up in the gym, battering myself. I think a lot of people can kind of relate to this in the fact that I have a high pain threshold. You know, in terms of physical pain, like as long as I'm like focused on the goal, it doesn't matter to me. I can take pain no matter what. And this is actually more of a negative than it is a positive. so. It all happened, man. I was just, and actually, when we talked about the movement stuff, I was never into that. I mean,
Right.
It was all by necessity.
Yeah.
I mean, it was because I had to. I mean, it was, you know, what happened was I was actually doing a deadlift, and then just when I was putting the deadlift down, it was like it wasn't even a weight. It was like a weight that I was warming up with. So I was putting the weight down. Pretty much, I felt this tweak in my lower back. And I didn't think anything of it. And as the weeks went by, I kept working out on it. And eventually it got to a point where I felt so much pain, I had to pretty much stop all lower body exercises whatsoever. So I focused on my upper body. And then everybody knows what happens when you do just upper body. Pretty much all sorts of dysfunctions happen right in your shoulder, especially in like your posterior delt, your lats,
Yeah.
and your pecs.
Yeah.
So I had this. So along with my lower back injury, I started to develop a shoulder injury, and it essentially came to a point where I had to. It was almost like, have you ever been at a point where you just loved going to the gym, like it was your
Yeah.
passion?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like people could not drag you away from that gym because that was like your time to almost like meditate and
Get it
almost
out.
pray.
Yeah.
Get it out,
Get it
pray
out.
to the weight gods and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So one of the most depressing moments in my life was when I actually had the gym taken away from me. I just came to a point where I was just I couldn't work out anymore. I was in severe lower back pain. I couldn't move my shoulder. I couldn't even sleep on the side that my shoulder was was hurting in the first place.
Right.
And it all just led to, honestly, just me doing the first thing that everyone does, which is going to chiropractors, going to physiotherapists,
Right.
getting told 5 billion different types of things, except for one thing. The one constant that they told me was that if I went to them and paid them like, $60, $75 every single week, then I'd be cured and I'd be able to walk, but I wouldn't be able to hit the gym.
Oh,
These
man.
chiropractors, I'm sorry, this is not a generality towards chiropractors, but just the ones I've just dealt with a lot of bad ones in my life. So
Sure.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Dan, this is so funny because, like I said, we just met a little bit ago, but I could pretty much just repeat the same story back to you, right? Started out as a fat kid, got picked on by family and friends, changed my life up, went into bodybuilding, got injured one too many times, decided that it's more about how you move and how you affect your body in a positive way, not just how hard you can go. And now I'm here, same spot, man, just trying to teach people how to do things without having to go through the pains that people like you and I have had to go through.
Well, we were just talking about this earlier, and honestly, we were just saying that a lot of the workouts that are out there right now, they just compromise movement in general.
Right.
So it's almost like taking 2 steps forward in terms of looking good, but you're taking about 3 steps back in terms of even feeling good.
Right.
So I think we said, like, they're going to get the bodies of like bodies of a teenager, but they're going to be moving around in bodies of a man who had just like 80-year-old man who had like hip surgery or something like
Right.
that. So,
Walking around and limping and everything, right?
yeah. So that, to end my story, essentially what I mean, like, whenever, for me, I'm in a very extreme guy. So when I need to find a solution, I need to find it, and I'm obsessed. Like, I get obsessed with it. I don't even have to sleep. Like, if I want to find out something, then I'll find out about it. So what happened was I poured myself into trying to find a solution to just cure myself. And essentially, one of the coolest things was I was actually looking towards what successful people were doing in the first place. And when I talk about successful people, I actually look at professional athletes.
Sure.
I mean, these guys have all the access to the top trainers, to the top, massage therapists and top physios or whatever. And I essentially look at what they did. So I remember I was looking at this baseball player, Vernon Wells. And Vernon Wells, like, he essentially was using this particular, type of movement system that he was doing right before his physical activity. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I kept seeing the same exact sequence happening with almost each and every, you name it, like a professional tennis player, a female professional tennis player, a basketball player. So that was kind of how I got started. And then, long story short, I decided to try out the sequence on me. It was about a year. I've been away from the gym, and I decided to actually try it out and try to go through one of my workouts in the gym. And what I found was, it's almost like the weirdest thing, and I don't know if you can relate to this at all, but when you're always working out with pain in your body and always working out with injuries, and then you hit the gym for like one day, and then you're like, you go to the gym, you do your workout, you feel no pain whatsoever, you wake up in the morning, and then you feel no pain. It's almost like you're living in the Twilight Zone. It's like
you're comfortable being uncomfortable, and so when it goes away, it's just like, what happened?
Yeah, like, what's going on? And the coolest thing about it was, like, I was running like unbelievably fast interval sprints. I was doing certain exercises like squats, deadlifts, squats, and presses, and I was pretty much hitting, if not surpassing, the PRs I had before. And this is within like the first week of hitting the gym, and I felt amazing. So essentially, that kind of just led me down this path of being a trainer, doing the same thing with my own clients, and essentially coming out with a program as well.
Yeah. So to talk about that kind of system that you discovered, and it sounds like it's just funny to me that we have such a same path. Injuries really motivate you to discover different ways to do things, don't they? Big time.
Yeah, well, negativity is for me, it's a big motivator.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know a lot of positivity is good in the world, but for me, I mean, like, when something negative happens, it's almost like when your engine breaks down, and then you realize, oh shit, I gotta fucking do something right now.
Right. Right. If I don't, then I'm screwed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I feel you. So maybe you could kind of give us kind of like an explanation on what you discovered works well for that preparatory movement. It sounds like you have some really interesting ideas. So maybe lay out the components of what you see being effective to making people move better, injured less, perform better during their workouts.